Hey everybody, Ethan Hokel here with the Hokel Real Estate team in Century 21. Our 2 cents for this week is you have a home to sell, but you also want to buy another one. How do you go about that? What are the steps? What do you need to know? So today we're going to talk about how that process looks, what to expect, what you can do, and what you maybe can't do. So the first thing is when you have a home to sell and you're going to buy another home, first thing to do is talk with your lender. You want to talk to your lender and see if you feel comfortable and if you can get approved for having two mortgages at one time. Some people can, but that's also a risk as well that you get stuck with two mortgages. If you cannot, then you have to sell your home first before you buy your new one. And so how does that look when you go to put an offer in? So when we go to write an offer on your new home, what we do is we make it subject to sale. So that means that purchase is subject to the sale of your current one. You are not obligated to buy that unless your other one sells. The downside to that is that someone else can come in and actually take that away from you. So if you have an accepted offer on there, but it's subject to sale of your home, the next day another buyer comes in, they can actually make an offer. The seller will then have to provide you notice. So we call it a first right of refusal. So we put that in the offer, the purchase agreement, when we submit the offer to the seller at the beginning. And there's a certain amount of time frame there. Usually it's anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. But then that seller can come back to you and say, okay, John and Lucy, we know we had a purchase agreement with you. We have another buyer. You now have 24 hours to remove that contingency, or else we can go with this other offer. And so that puts you in a crunch. You got to get everything done. You got to either talk to the bank again, decide if you want to remove that contingency, or most likely try to sell that home. So the home can get sold out from under you. The good thing is, though, you can still put offers in. So you do not need to wait to sell your home before you can put an offer in. On the flip side of that, in this crazy market and where things are in this market right now, you can lose out on a decent amount of homes if you do have a home to sell and if you are subject to sale. Where there's multiple offer situations, when it's very competitive, a subject to sale usually makes its way down to the bottom of the list if you're competing against other people. So it's always a catch-22. Do I list my home and then when it sells, then do I go try to find something, or do I find something and then list my home? It's very hard to make that decision. If you are selling or if you're looking to buy in a price point where there's lots of inventory, then I say, go ahead, list your home, then we'll go find you a new one. Where there's very minimal inventory in the purchase price you want to buy in, I would just say if you can, be a little bit on the lenient side of, okay, well, maybe we will have to rent if we can't find what we're looking for. Or the other thing we do from that side of things as a seller is we do what they call subject to home of choice. So that means we're going to list our property, but we're actually going to put a clause in there when a buyer comes along that says, this offer, you have to give us X amount of days. You have to give us 30 days to go find our home of choice. If we don't find it, either the contract is void or we'll still sell it to you and we'll go find something different. So that's how we work through that. A lot of people are always hesitant. Well, I don't want to list because I don't know if I'm going to find what I want to buy. Well, we can use that home of choice clause for to help you feel a lot better on that instance. But with the subject to sale, if you do have a home to sell, we get it on the market, we go find you a home, we put the offer in on there, and then when we put the offer in, then it becomes subject to sale. When we get an accepted offer on your property, then that offer then becomes subject to closing obtaining proceeds. So I also get the question a lot, well, what if this deal falls through, then I got to buy two houses? No, not necessarily. We put a clause in there, it's got to close, and you have to get a proceeds check, and that's the only thing that makes you obligated to then turn around and buy your new house. Because most of the time, without that proceeds from your current home, it's very, very hard to go buy the next home that you're looking to buy. A lot of people don't have that excess in reserves to do that, nor want to be stuck with two mortgage payments. So hopefully that puts a little bit of ease at mind there, but it is a catch-22, so at the end of the day, it's up to you guys on what route you take. Especially when we are in a competitive market on the buy side. I noticed some people, they might lose 2 or 3 homes because they are subject to sale, and then they finally decide, well, you know what, we'll just put our home in the market, we'll get this sold, and then we'll figure out the next step, and if we have to rent, then we have to rent. But hopefully you found some of those tips useful today, and that is our 2 cents for the week. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.